Hello and welcome. In the professional world, being clear isn't just a nice to have, it's everything. Today, we're going to get into the single most important tense in French, the one that really is the bedrock for all clear and effective communication. And this session comes to you from A French Rendezvous, Canada's premier second language school. We really believe that getting the fundamentals right is the absolute key to becoming truly fluent. So, let's start with a big question. Which verb tense is the real foundation of professional French? Well, the answer, as we're about to see, is the one and only présent de l'indicatif.
All right, let's dive right in. Now, to really master this tense, we need to do more than just memorize rules. We've got to understand its core functions, what linguists call its valeur. Think of it like this. It's not just knowing how to use the tense, but really getting why and when to use it.
Okay, so at its heart, the indicative present is a simple tense. It's used to talk about an action happening right now, a habit you do all the time, or a general truth. Basically, it's the tense of the here and now, of certainty, and of solid fact. First up is what we call the présent d'énonciation. This is for an action that's happening the very moment you say it. For instance, j'envoie le courriel tout de suite. I am sending the email right now. In a professional setting, this shows you're taking immediate action. It's very efficient. Next, we have the present of habit. This is for all those repeated, routine actions that make up so much of our professional lives, right? For example, le centre ouvre à 8 heures tous les jours. This center opens at 8 a.m. every day. It establishes a predictable, reoccurring event.
The present tense is also what you'll use to state a general truth or a permanent fact, something that's just always true. The classic example is l'eau bout à 100 degrés Celsius. Water boils at 100 degrees Celsius. Using the present tense here gives your statement a sense of authority and objective fact. But here's what's so cool about this tense. It's incredibly versatile. You can use it for narration to make a story feel more immediate, like le client arrive. You can also use it to talk about a planned event in the near future. Le comité se réunit demain. And it's perfect for giving clear instructions. Vous remplissez le formulaire. It's like the Swiss Army knife of French tenses. Okay, so we've got the why down. Now let's get into the nitty-gritty how. How do we actually form the present tense for the vast majority of French verbs? Well, it's a really logical three-step process. First, you start with the infinitive, the basic form of the verb. Second, you just lop off the ending, the avoir, ir, or ra, to get what we call the radical, or the stem. And finally, you just stick the correct ending onto that stem, depending on who you're talking about. Simple as that. And here they are. This table is your absolute key. Just look at the consistent patterns for each group. For ER verbs, you've got those E, A, I, EBS, A endings. For IR verbs, you see that trademark is, it, and then the plural forms with that double S. Seriously, getting this one table down is a huge leap toward fluency. Of course, this is French, so we have to talk about exceptions. But don't worry, let's just focus on the essential irregular verbs, the ones you are going to see and use constantly in any professional setting. We have to start with the two pillars of the French language, être, to be, and avoir, to have. Their conjugations are completely unique, so you'll really want to commit these to memory. They're absolutely fundamental for building pretty much everything else in French. Next up are aller, to go, and faire, to do or to make. Just think for a second how often you talk about plans, movement, or actions. These two verbs are total workhorses in daily communication, for everything from giving directions to describing what you're working on. And finally, let's look at the modal verbs pouvoir, to be able to, and vouloir, to want. These are absolutely essential for talking about ability, asking for permission, and expressing what you need. Mastering them is critical for making polite and effective requests at work. Now for the finer points. Beyond just the regular and irregular verbs, there are a few common spelling and pronunciation tricks you need to know. This is where paying attention to the details really starts to elevate your French. So take a close look at verbs ending in ger and ser. To keep that soft G sound in mangeant, we have to pop in a little E. And similarly, for commençant, the C gets that little tail, the cd, to keep the soft S sound. See? These aren't really exceptions. They're rules to help with pronunciation. We also see some changes happen right inside the stem of the verb itself. For instance, notice how the accent in je lève just disappears in nous levons?
or how the le doubles in j'appelle, but it's single in nous appelons. These patterns aren't random. They're all tied directly to how the syllable is pronounced.
All right, theory is one thing, but making it stick is everything. Let's put your understanding to the test with a quick practical exercise set right in a professional context. Okay, here's the first one. La directrice et l'agent valider les demandes urgentes. The director and the agent to validate the urgent requests. Take a second. Who is the subject here? What are we working with?
And the answer is validant. So why is that? Because the subject, la directrice et l'agent, is plural. It's the same as saying they, so that verb needs the third person plural ending, which is ont. Makes sense, right?
Okay, question number 2. Now this one is going to test one of those spelling rules we just talked about. Nous commençons la séance. We to begin the session. How would you write that? The correct answer is commençons with a cd. Remember that rule? Before a vowel like O, that C needs the cd to keep its soft S sound. It's a perfect example of how the spelling is there to serve the pronunciation.
You know, what we've covered today is such a key piece of the puzzle, but it's also just one part of a complete learning ecosystem. At a French Rendezvous, we back up this kind of core learning with personalized coaching, a 24/7 interactive platform, and a whole set of tools for every kind of learner. Your linguistic goals are totally achievable. With a tailor-made experience, you really can unlock your full potential. We invite you to continue this journey with us. Come enroll today at FrenchRendezvous.ca.